got a fantastic session today, and I don't want to waste too much time before we kick off. And I know already that we've got people with some questions that they'd like to put at the end. So a big welcome to everybody here today. My name's Sue Anstis. I'm the co-founder of the Women's Sport Collective with Kate Hannon, who's also on the call here. You can see her. You practice that wave, Kate, don't you? So we co-founded the Women's Sport Collective, and as I tell you, each time we come on, numbers keep growing. We're at about 2,900, I think, now, so growing with women from across the world, which is fantastic. If you're not already, please do be active in the LinkedIn group. So I think there's nearly 2,500 women in the LinkedIn group, so please do go there. There's lots of useful content being shared, lots of jobs and opportunities, and also a great chance to build your connections and just to connect and link in with the women that are there too. So please do use the LinkedIn group. Before we get started, I'm just going to tell you about a couple of things that are coming up in the next few weeks. So next Wednesday, the 9th of June, that's a week on Wednesday, isn't it, is our next networking meeting, our June networking meeting. So you can book that. There's a link in the LinkedIn group. We'll be sending a newsletter out at the beginning of June, so you can book into that. That's just more of a chance to hear from a couple of women about their careers and then to network in small groups to build your connections. On June the 30th, on Wednesday, June the 30th, we've got a fantastic session with Dr. Karen Llewellyn talking about active listening, and that's at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, June the 30th. And then snuck in between those two sessions, we're hoping on either Wednesday the 16th or 17th to have a session on the 100, which is quite relevant as we're talking cricket today. But we've got some people from the ECB and maybe a few other names coming along too, just to talk about the 100 this summer, what they're doing around that event, why it's so important in terms of women's equality within sport. So really excited about that too. Date to be confirmed, and we'll share it with you as soon as it is confirmed, but great that that's happening too. And we were just chatting beforehand, actually, we do seem to have lots of fantastic. The ECB and cricket seem to be very happy to share a lot of the work they're doing, and we're really grateful for that. So if through your sports or through the work you're doing, there's things you'd like to be sharing across the collective, do let us know. We're here just to set up the platform to share that great content too. So yeah, please keep us posted if there are things, and also make a note of July 21st, because we might have something happening where we might actually get to meet in person, which could be incredibly exciting. But more of that later when confirmed, but I'm conscious that it's only a couple of months away, so hopefully we can start to begin to meet in person too, which would be very exciting. So I'm not going to say much more really, other than to pass over to our fantastic guests today, Shruti and Sangy, who are from the ECB. They're going to talk to us, well, I'll let them explain. They're going to talk to us about, you know why you're here, but the incredible work that they've been doing with the ECB across their programme, bringing more South Asian women into the world of cricket. And hopefully, if you've got questions, please do pop them into the chat function as we go on, and we will take you off of mute, or we can ask your questions at the end too. So I've got the onerous task of sharing my screen and being in charge of media. So I will do that now, and I will let you come off of mute and introduce yourselves and get started. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it, and I hope I don't let you down on the tech side.
Thanks, Sue. No pressure at all being our media manager for us and making this work. So good afternoon, and I hope you've all got some wonderful lunches to keep you company throughout the next 40 minutes or so that me and Sangy take you through. So I'm Shruti Saujani. I'm the Senior Manager for City Programme and Volunteers here at the ECB. I do a number of things, but a key focus on supporting, empowering volunteers to volunteer in cricket and ensure cricket is a sport where anyone can feel part of it, and also volunteer in the beautiful game that we all love. Sangy? Oh no, Sangy.
Can't believe it. Technical error already. Off mute now. Okay, I'm Sangy Theivendra. I'm City Programme Executive for the London region. I'm also head of women and girls cricket at Harrow Cricket Club. It's actually a voluntary role, but I'm so proud of all the progress that's been happening in the women and girls game. So I like to gloat about my volunteering side of things. And we really should appreciate all the free time we put into this women's game, actually. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Sangy. Just to note, I don't think Sangy coming off mute is not going to be the way forward on this presentation. We've got some exciting things coming up over the course of the next couple of slides. So I guess it was important for us to share a bit of background on how Dream Big Desi Women came about. And we really hope that throughout this presentation that there are some learnings and little changes that each one of you can take away and implement into your day-to-day life, whether that's becoming an ally and supporting a more diverse and inclusive workforce, be it through volunteering, or whether that's exploring opportunities that you may not have considered. So everything we speak about over the next couple of slides, we genuinely believe there are tangible and little changes that will allow you to change your world a little bit and empower the people that you speak to. So Dream Big Desi Women, on the next slide, we've got when Dream Big Desi Women came about, it was in 2019, and there was a lot of research, a lot of data, and we all love data because it drives a lot of insights around why South Asian women were not participating and volunteering. So there's lots of data around why South Asian women were least likely to volunteer. We knew there was a lack of role models for South Asian women to aspire to be like, especially in the game of cricket. There was a lack of appropriate facilities, so where they felt comfortable to go volunteer. As you're aware, cricket is often seen as a place where you need that green field or a club environment, and that's wasn't what women wanted. Also, cultural expectation. There's a lot of traditional and cultural expectations of what a role of a woman is, especially from a South Asian background. There's lots of responsibilities on the females, whether they're looking after the children, supporting families, but everything where they put themselves last. And then it's just the right opportunities. Often we showcase opportunities which we feel they may seem the perfect opportunity in our head, but often are they the right opportunities for the target audience that you're trying to attract? And what's really exciting, in partnership with Sport England, the team and we set out to change that. And we set out to change the world a little bit and inspire 2,000 South Asian women into the wonderful game of sports through our national programs. On the next slide, we've just got a little snippet, which I'll go to Sangy to introduce, and hopefully technology works for us. And if we just play that, Sue, please.
Not a place you would usually associate with cricket, this Hindu community centre in Bradford has broken the mould with a unique all-stars coaching session.
The aim of today is to showcase that we've taken all-stars to non-traditional cricket centres. So today we are in the Hindu temple here in Bradford, and it's showcasing that cricket has no barriers. We're also showcasing that we have a new diversified audience of volunteers with a focus on South Asian females.
I got involved because my daughter pushed me to it, but now I'm involved, I so love it. It's like pushing another career forward for me because I've not done anything like this before. Smile, there you go. Hi.
Last year, the England Wales Cricket Board devised a South Asian action plan. It's an 11-point action plan which addresses the South Asians at every level of the game, and it's to support them and encourage them to take part. And on the back of that, that's when we got the funding from Sport England. 1.2 million was provided to us to actually inspire and bring a change in the South Asian community. In 2017, when England women and India women got to the final at Lords, it was a pivotal change for women in cricket, and to see amazing role models like you see here today from different backgrounds, different plates, teaching cricket to the future generation, it's incredible.
I never thought they did it in the temple at first. It's when everybody came up to me and says, look, they're doing it in the Hindu temple. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. One, stop! Put your hands up in here!
This project has given us the chance to communicate with other communities as well, such as Muslims, Sikh, Hindus. So it's just bringing the community together.
To have sort of like a mixture of male and females coming in, not having that stereotyping where it's just a sports for males only.
A lot of the parents don't feel comfortable sending their girls because the coach is a male, so the more females we get, the more girls we're going to get.
It's nice to get the girls in, you know, boost their confidence and make them think that they are capable of doing any sport. May it be man's sport, woman's sport, any sport, they are most capable of doing and getting to the top.
We are really, really proud to be the first temple to actually being involved in the ECB.
It's a great opportunity for kids to learn, but also volunteers to have coaching courses, to get that little bit of a sense of what cricket's about.
And you never know, there might be a Tandulkar in the next place, male or female. Shout, we're done. We're done. That's it, sit down.
What an incredible day today. We've had a lot of fun, a lot of high fives and a lot of smiles with the kids, and better still, we've also recruited a further few South Asian females today.
Thanks, Sue, for playing that. That lady always makes me smile when I see that. So I hope that's given you a bit of a visual glimpse and flavour of what we're doing to set about change. And in fact, actually from that centre, what you've seen, I've just found out last weekend, 9 of those women have now become level 2 cricket coaches, which is amazing. So if they'd never had the opportunity in the temple, they wouldn't have become level 2 coaches in our game. So it's a great achievement. And what you saw there was a temple, but we've taken our program into mosques, we've taken it to gurdwaras, we've taken it to leisure centres, parks. I've even done, funny enough, training in squash courts, but we're literally taking it anywhere where there's a little bit of space. So trying to really kind of break that perception that cricket has to be played on this beautiful strip of land and it has to be green. So I think it's only fair that we really talk about the back end of what people see of our program, which is our team culture and our philosophy and our ethic. And I've clearly put on here, empowered people empower others. Because from day one of our program, we were a blank piece of paper, which is quite exciting, but it's also quite overwhelming as well. And there are times where you think, am I doing the right thing? But from day one, we had the mindset and mantra kind of drummed into us is to question, what is your why? And I urge you to do the same thing with any aspect that you have. And I'll give you a shared lived example for myself. I wasn't sure whether I should be going to Guildford at 9 o'clock at night to go for a training session, which is not the area that I would cover, but actually, what is my why? What would I achieve from going there? And really going there is really about trying to establish a stakeholder relationship or develop a relationship. So I had my answer there. So every time we need to do something, you question your why. Why are you doing something? And then the mantra that we've been put into us is be bold, be brave, be different. In fact, it was actually my WhatsApp status for a long time until I had to change it to staying at home. But we still got that even in the virtual world. And I suppose because we've been driven by that, I think it sort of set us up to have a little bit of an inclination inside of us of having no fear of failure or not being scared of trying something new or something different. And I suppose that's why I put on the slide, empowered people empower others, because if you and yourself feel empowered, you're going to be in a position to empower others. So if I move on to the next slide, that will show you the team structure. In most normal organizations, it is really a hierarchy, isn't it, really, to be honest? You've got a manager and then you've got a team underneath you. But I suppose what's different about the culture of this team is we don't have that kind of flat structure. We do listen to Shruti every now and then. It's not saying we're not, but I suppose if you go on to the next slide, I think what's really important, and I wanted to highlight this, is that we have leadership over management, which means that we've been empowered to make our own choices, our own decisions. And as you can see, you'll see Shruti on the left there, and then I've put this horizontal line across all of us with all our team, in fact. So whether you're from London, whether you're from Leicester, Birmingham, Nottingham, Leeds, Bradford, or Manchester, those are the areas that we've covered. We are all leaders within our own area, and we've always been made to feel that you know your area, you know what's best, you go and apply, which is quite nice, and it's quite empowering to have that, really, because then you make the decisions and choices. And again, you have that no fear of trying something and trying to do something different. And actually, if you don't mind, Women's Sport Collective being a little bit of a recruitment driver here, we've actually got 2 positions available for Birmingham and London. So thank you for letting me do a bit of a recruitment pitch here, actually. So if anyone wants to join our team, you know where we are. But all of us feed into this team, and I think our team culture is not that one person contributes more than the other. We've all chipped in and we all empower each other. So if you can move, oh, have we missed one? No, I think over to Shruti.
Thank you, Sangy, and thank you for your kind words there as well. So I think ultimately, as Sangy's already referred to, we had a blank piece of paper, and we kind of had a free-for-all to do and try things new. And we obviously needed some structure. I'm not one for structure, so we as a team devised a framework. Some would call it a model, so take your pick, whatever you want to call this. But this was what underpinned the Dream Big Desi Women programme, and it's what underpins us to this date. And everything we do will fall under one of these categories, which ultimately leads to the volunteer journey, but also checks and challenges everything we put out and do. So we basically had a 5-stage process to not only sustain volunteers, but to build the programme. And over the course of the next couple of slides, what we'll do is we'll go over each of these and show you how we brought it to life. Also want to add as well, some of the wider piece of work we've done at the England and Wales Cricket Board is develop the volunteer strategy or the volunteer action plan. And the learnings that we've had from this project have actually transpired into the volunteer strategy. And the model, which hopefully you'll see in due course in the future, is ECB's volunteer action plan is actually underpinned by these pillars because of the power it has that you can take this and adapt it to any piece of work you're doing. So if there's anything you take from here, as well as the wonderful videos, see mine and Sangy's face, if you can take this framework, you'll be able to assess your current performance or where you are, and then look at ways to empower your journey. So on to the next slide, we've got inspire. So as Sangy's mentioned, we had a team ethos or culture, which was all about being bold, but we also wanted to ensure that was reflective on our outward piece of any content, any comms, and any pictures that we put out. And often we think about this pillar as how best you get people excited about what you have to offer. And ultimately at the time we had an offer of how do we get people to join a nationwide movement of people like them or people like themselves they could see in volunteering roles, and how could we make the volunteer opportunity attractive and exciting. So some of the easy and the tangible ways that we looked at to actually make this come to life. Initially, when you think about inspire, correct me if I'm wrong, but automatically you'd think big picture about influencers, media, marketing. And often, I think if COVID has taught us anything, it's more about on that local level, that human connection, that personal impact you can have. And that's what we've been doing from day dot, but it's been amplified even more over the past year. So sharing stories is one of the best ways that you can connect with an individual, but also groups of individual. So what we try to do when we talk about inspire is what are the special stories and special moments that we've captured in our project as to why people want to take part. And what's interesting, you'll see if you've seen any of our marketing material, cricket is hardly mentioned because it's more about the connectivity, the community, the friendships, the learning a new skill. So if you've got an opportunity, one thing you could absolutely do for free if you don't have the funding, if you're a big organization or you manage a small group of workforce, is whether it's in a WhatsApp group, whether it's on an Instagram page, whether it's a tweet, the biggest thing you can do is share a quote or a mini clip or a story of volunteer's journey, because that in turn will inspire someone else to potentially take part or volunteer through your offer. And network. I guess this is a great platform, what Sue and Kate have built. It's a great opportunity to meet like-minded people, but also gain connections. And I think the biggest learning we've had is you don't have to always go in for an ask, like building a connection or building a friendship or a business relationship with someone. You don't have to go in with an ask. And I think if you're able to maintain that network, you never know when it may come in use. And one of the things we've done at a local level is we've built over 300 local partnerships around how we can work together and collaboratively with the community. And as Sangy's already touched on, why, always tap into their why. Often we put a lens of our views, our angles on what we want to deliver, but how do you flip it and how do you look at it from your target audience? And it is true when they say put yourselves in their shoes, give that a go, because often we try, when you know something, you kind of want to go as the subject matter expert and push it through. But how do you flip it? It takes a little bit longer, but it's far more sustainable. So in terms of inspire, if you're not already, look at ways through social media, as we've all probably gravitated towards social media quite a bit over the past year, or look at ways that you can connect with your volunteers or that new network just to share your opportunities, say thank you, and really shine a light on them volunteers that you wouldn't have normally. So that's all about inspire, be bold, be brave, and make a difference. Sangy?
Thanks, Shruti. And as part of that, we like to keep things a little bit energized. And ladies, I know that it is lunchtime, but if you think you're having a bowl of pasta and you can sit at your desk and fall asleep, unfortunately not. We're going to ask you a question, and we want you to put on the chat box, who or what made you dream big? So if you could just share all that in the chat box, please don't be shy. I'm going to start reading out as many responses as I can. So who made you dream big, or what made you dream big? Was it your mum? Was it the aunt next door? Or was it someone else? My parents? Yeah, T driver. Seeing Karen Carney play for England. Watching her made me realise I could be in sport. Okay, great. My dad, thanks Angela, my dad's the same as well. My first netball touch. They're all coming through quite fast, I can't keep up. My coach and seeing women in my sport win the Olympic medal for the first time. My mum. Guest speakers at school and university. Johnny Wilkinson. My youth club and football coach, parents and brothers, parents, teachers, brilliant. Keep it coming through. I'm conscious of time as well. So yeah, there's lots of things coming through, but there's a lot. If you have a look at all the responses that are coming through, it is really more about the people element and all the people that have touched people's lives. So as part of the Inspire pillar, that we brought on a campaign recently, we launched a campaign and we brought on a brand ambassador on our behalf, and we'll play a video in a moment. And we felt like our call to action and our brand is strong enough that this is why we now can go and get a brand ambassador on our behalf. And it's the right time to bring someone on board. And if you hear her message that she delivers in the first couple of seconds, there's even a reference there about being stuck in this COVID world as well. So trying to inspire by being adaptable at the same time. So Sue, if you don't mind, could you please play the video for us?
It's been a tough time, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Now is the time for our children and for our communities to bounce back stronger than ever. It's time to look to the future. I am so grateful to have had such a strong family support system that encouraged me to follow the footsteps of inspiring Desi women. When I was younger, I'd be constantly looking for Desi women, people that looked just like me on TV, on screen, on the radio, anywhere in the media field. And I think the minute I spotted them when I was younger, I was like, that's who I want to be. Mentors are so important when it comes to breaking boundaries, following your dreams, especially when you're dreaming big. Cricket played a huge part in my life growing up. I remember playing when we were younger in the driveway. My dad would pull out the wheelie bin and use it as the stumps. We'd go and play in the school fields. We'd have family days out just to play cricket. And I just feel so passionate about it. It's not just about the bat and the ball. It's about having fun. It's about learning how to have social skills, getting to know people in your community. And it really, really helped me with my confidence, especially when it comes to working in a team. I am so delighted to be the official ambassador of Dream Big Desi Women. It's an incredible initiative set out to inspire people like me to help the next generation to dream big through cricket. Through Dream Big, you can be a part of something very special to help children learn, have fun and create memories together through the England and Wales Cricket Board's national programmes. So, my Desi women, are you ready to inspire our cricket stars of the future? Start your Dream Big journey today.
Thank you.
So in terms of, I just want to apologize, like if I'm not talking, then you actually just see my face on a video or some poster or something, so apologies for that. So I think going on to the second pillar, from inspire, great that you've got people excited about your opportunity and people are considering potentially joining or taking part. The second pillar is all about recruit. What is that journey? What is that? How do people sign up? Whether it's a digital journey, is it through Microsoft Forms? Is it a landing page? How best do people actually get excited and get involved into your program? So in terms of where we've got to today, which I'm really proud of everything the Dream Big team has done here at the England Wales Cricket Board to date. It's very exciting, but it's also incredible to see these journeys that these women have made by trusting us, by starting their journey in cricket. So to date, and we'll minus the COVID year that has a lot of reference to it, but to date we've recruited 716 South Asian women who have never volunteered in the sport before, and 90% of these women had never done any sort of volunteering like this before outside of sports. And it's an incredible journey. Like, you see generations take part. You see like the grandma, the mum, the daughter volunteering in a centre, and it's just so amazing to see their journey and their connection. And what's really rewarding is these women got involved in Dream Big Desi Women because they felt like it was a program that spoke to them. And that is exactly what our program has been built. It's been built by the women for the women itself. What's really exciting as well is this program, although we're very niche and very specific around South Asian women, we haven't limited that. We've kept it to, we haven't just turned anyone away if they're not South Asian. This journey has allowed us to take so many more people on the journey with us. We've got males who've been allies of the program. We've also got other ethnic groups, and we've also got a further 120 plus volunteers who are not South Asian but are still like volunteering in the community. We've got, as the video showed earlier, we've got different communities coming together to deliver cricket, because what matters is making a difference to the community. And I think that shows the power of cricket. There are no boundaries in terms of faith or religion. It's the sport that brings people together, which is just so great to see. And the team have implemented, we're just hitting over 100 today at the moment, of All Stars and Dynamos programs in non-traditional areas. So this includes your leisure centres, faith centres, gurdwaras, temples, mosques, so everywhere where cricket isn't. And what's really nice to see is, as the change is not just happening with the team, it's happening wider in the organisation. So as they launched, for example, Dynamos, when they did their photo shoot, they ensured that the photo shoot also took place in an environment where the team were taking cricket. So new environments, and to see the culture change has been amazing. So to take away from here is, the biggest thing is just ask people to get involved. On a volunteer survey that we did nationally at ECB, over 50% had not got involved in cricket because they hadn't been asked. So keep it simple, ask the question, make a difference.
Thanks. So we'll go on to the aspect of the train pillar. One of the things we like to emphasize is that we've delivered women-only training sessions when people want to become an activator. And there's two main reasons here. One of them, of course, is some South Asian cultures don't traditionally like to be in too many environments with lots of men around. I think that's a cultural, it's something cultural that they're just not familiar with. Second is, as well, is to make that environment comfortable. And I think this is applicable to all sports. So whether you're swimming or rugby or athletics, whatever it is, because I know even when I did my level 2, it was me and 2 other women on this course, and there were a couple of guys there that really made a point of, oh, can you bowl a ripper for me, or could you do a googly? And I noticed he'd asked me and the 2 other ladies, but he never bothered asking all the other men. And you just can't help thinking, well, is that because I'm a woman here and you feel like I need to justify my presence? So I guess it's really creating that environment that they feel comfortable in. And as a lot of women that are new into cricket, new into sport, in fact, you want that environment where they feel that no question is a stupid question to ask and that they are totally comfortable. So we delivered women-only sessions. Time of training as well. So there's lots of barriers. So I know traditionally a lot of our county boards tend to do 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night, when most people who have got kids, mums that have got kids, can't necessarily leave the house. Maybe they don't have that element of support where they could get involved, or maybe they are women that are at home but have free time in the daytime. We have kind of adapted that there's no one specific time. So at the moment we're doing a lot of virtual. We're doing 2 parts to our training. So we're doing one, the first part is virtual to do the fundamentals, and the second part is face-to-face. And I know, being in lockdown, people think when you're working from home it's really easy, but it's not. You kind of balance yourself, balance your kids, and everything else going on. So we have put on training sessions at 8:30 at night, because most people kind of put their kids to bed, or we've put on sessions at 1 o'clock because it's a working day and it caters for people who are not full-time working. So really trying to be flexible with the time of training. And probably a lived experience I'll tell you about with time of training. During the month of Ramadan, a lot of ladies are fasting, which means they're a bit apprehensive to kind of run around, or they want to break their fast. So this is 2 years ago now. One Ramadan, I remember going to the mosque, breaking iftar with them, which is where they break their fast. And then I carried on doing the training. And actually we adapted our training that you don't need to get them to run around if they don't feel they need to get to run around. We've got so much resource out there. You can use videos, you can use coaching methods of demonstrating. So really being able to get that clear key message across without sticking to kind of a rigid script, so to speak. Which moves on to bring a friend or children. Oh, sorry, no, that's all right, no problem. Which moves on to bring a friend or children, because again, a lot of ladies say, I'm sorry, I can't make that time because my kids are with me. And I think I mentioned this before, we were in a squash court when I delivered training, and it's like, no, that's fine, bring your kids along. And then they said, well, actually a friend wants to come along, but she's got her kids as well. It's like, yeah, fine, the more the merrier. And actually those kids end up playing together. And actually this program is about delivering grassroots program to children. So why would you not want to have the children around? So giving that flexibility. Another thing we're particularly proud of what we've actually come in and adapted to set that change is our modest apparel, because a lot of South Asian women in our audiences, they weren't very comfortable with tight-fitting leggings or t-shirts just sort of sat on the belly. So we've actually gone and adapted the kit, and we've introduced loose-fitting jogging bottoms and longer length t-shirts that cover bum. I think I may need a few of those, to be honest. And then we've introduced skins, because there are some ladies that don't want to show their skin at all. So we've got the skins. And we are the first national governing body to actually introduce a sports hijab as part of the kit. So that was quite a nice touch. And we refer to additional support here, because it could be that one person struggles with something. So for example, it could be, I don't know how to download this app on my phone, could you help? So it could be that we're helping an individual with trying to download something as simple as downloading an app, or it could be that they don't know how to fill in a form and we try and assist them. Again, language can be a bit of a barrier, and I don't speak any of the South Asian languages. I understand a bit, and actually my own native mother tongue, which is Tamil, I can't speak it because I've got such a thick British accent and people just laugh at me and I can't string a sentence along. But I haven't had to revert to those languages, because I think sometimes it is a case of being patient with someone and sometimes using body language to try and ask the questions and try and help someone out. So really kind of giving that additional support. So if we move on, again, one of the questions I'll probably ask you now is, what changes could you make to being adaptable? Oh, this music is not playing now. Here we go. What changes could you make to be adaptable, accommodating in order to develop trust? So if you can put that in the chat box, that would be great, and I'll read them out. So many takeaways I can take to my women and girls cricket training. Thank you. Yeah, if you just want to have a think about what we've just been discussing, think about what changes you can make to be adaptable or accommodating just in order to develop a bit of trust. Female-only sessions seem to appeal to many. Yeah, absolutely. Anything you think you could particularly take? Location of a session, absolutely. Venue choice. Yeah. My mind always goes to consultation, but do have a bit of a fear of death by survey. I think there's no wrong or right answer, really, to be honest. You've just got to try and just do what you can. I think we need a strap line. Processes to decide and take time with people in front of you, yeah. Words and language. Give time out of my day to learn more about my team members, just for a general chat, yeah. Simplifying language, shorter sessions. Understanding their needs. Yeah. If you want to keep those coming, I'm happy for you to keep those coming while we're speaking. I hope I haven't annoyed anyone with having Rick Astley in the background, but I specifically chose that song because it was never going to give you up, never going to let you go, never going to run around and hurt you. There's a lot in those lyrics about developing trust, really, and really going all out. I remember when that song was released, it was really like, I'm going to do everything I can for you. So I suppose that's why I played that for you. But just keep thinking about those nuggets of learning. And someone just did mention about strapline. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for cheesy lines. One of the things I used to say to people is, well, if you don't come to cricket, I will bring cricket to you. So by all means, it's about being adaptable and flexible too. Shruti.
Thanks. So on to the next slide. So it's a known fact, right? If someone takes a moment to say thank you or praise you, you will leave with a smile on. So I guess right now, from me and Sangy, we thank all of you for giving up your lunchtime to come and hear us talk and see lots of my faces. And now I can't stop looking at the screen because my face is on this as well. But it's one of the things that we've learned, I guess, from cricket's volunteers is 76% of volunteers just want a simple thank you. And over 40% of cricket volunteers, so not just in Dream Big, just broader as well, just left volunteering because they weren't feeling valued in cricket. So when we looked at this, like, we knew ECB as a brand has got a really good gravitas and it's very well known in the South Asian community and they love cricket. And we looked at ways of how do we actually say thank you to our volunteers in a way that's meaningful. So some of the pictures that you may have seen, we've definitely not broken any COVID guidelines. They were pre-COVID, but that's why we did think we'd put a screen in the middle just to make sure it's apt as well as we move forward. But one of the things we've learned throughout the past year, which has probably changed the way how we will thank volunteers as well, is it's not about the big events. It's not about the sit-down meals. It's not about a big award ceremony. It's more about them personal touches, whether it's on a post-it note or a letter of thanks to the volunteers for their time and effort. Because ultimately the biggest motivation volunteers take part in programs or even this program is because they do it either for their community or their kids. They normally do it for other people. But what people often reflect on and see is volunteering gives so much more back. Because when you give time, you're actually gaining time for yourself, for you to develop a skill, but also make friendships. And we've done a number of ways of thanking our volunteers, from chai and chat, virtual chai and chats. We did crickety parties. We're hoping for some great events coming up in the summer around getting our volunteers together in a safe and social distance way to thank them, play cricket, have food, have fun. But the biggest one that's always stuck through has been a letter of thanks from either a player, either the team, or even from myself, just to say thank you for their efforts. So if there's anything you do, whether it's to your team that you're surrounded by or to your volunteers, just say thank you, because it might seem like a two words, but it goes a significant long way. And it's as simple as that. You could do the best awards dinner, but if you forget to say that thank you and that human touch, you'll lose it. So biggest thing I can give you from that reward, recognize and celebrate pillar is say thank you, share the stories, because as you can see is this pillar actually links into that inspire, because when you talk about stories and you thank volunteers in a way that's meaningful to them, you're actually inspiring more people to come through to consider your sport and take part. And that's why you can see all these framework models or pillars, they all interlink, because without one, the other one isn't successful. So say thank you, and Sangy has something else lined up on the next slide, so over to you, Sangy.
Yeah, I suppose it's how could you say thank you? So if you could think of ways, so you've seen we've got a letter from Claire Connor, who's our Managing Director of Cricket, to write to our female volunteers. What could you do in your remit, whether you're in, I keep picking on swimming for some reason, I'm not sure why, but or whether in squash or volleyball or rounders, anything. What do you think you could do to say thank you? So great opportunity to thank your volunteers during National Volunteer Week, 1st to 7th of June, absolutely. Social media is free. It doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, leverage your platforms and just keep saying thank you. I suppose one thing you could do is highlight certain people that you know, maybe do case studies on them and share them online. Again, that's free and that spreads the word. Social media profile, everyone loves to see their face up in the lights. Yeah, Shruti loves that too. Certificate of support, bronze, silver, gold, depending on the amount what they've done. Yeah, absolutely. Highlight how people have gone above and beyond their roles. Lovely individual letters to each volunteer. It really does make a difference. And actually, if you see the virtual call that we held coffee mornings virtually during lockdown. And they were called Chai and Chat. And at the very last one that we did last month, Claire Connor actually surprisingly came onto the call and just thanked all the ladies there. And it was brilliant. You could see everyone sort of bringing out their phones, ready to take a picture. But it's quite appreciated, especially when it's from top to bottom. Shruti's put, you can keep it digital to be sustainable. A great little note. Okay, Rachel's put, one of our volunteers lead our International Women's Day campaign this year. Recognition, thanks, shared across digital channels and across your magazine. Brilliant, you've got them, Martin. So keep them coming, lots of different ideas. So if you can think about that reward, recognize pillar, just take that away an element and see how you can apply it to whatever sport that you're in. So that's thank you. I think there's one more slide to go, Sue. That's okay. We have to have technical glitch. It just wouldn't be right if we didn't. So moving on to the retain pillar, and I promise that was the last bit of music from me. Moving on to retain pillar, you really want to make some partnerships outside of your sport as well to develop and give opportunities back to your volunteers. So a couple of things that we've done is offered first aid and youth mental health first aid training. I'll pick specifically on youth mental health first aid training because we really advocate for that, and especially with South Asian audiences, mental health is such a taboo still, and if you can educate and raise awareness with these ladies, they are not only being role models for the game of cricket, they are also being role models within their community, and actually they can just add that little bit of touch, because life is not just about the sport, is it really? It's about so much more, and they can take that back to the community. So we really advocate for that. And again, we will fund those where we can. We partnership up with Microsoft. We have a formal commercial partnership with them. So they've now given us some digital skills training workshops. So yesterday saw the first one launch, which was Rock Your LinkedIn Profile. So really giving ladies opportunity to come on and sort of see what software can actually help and advance them with their LinkedIn. And I think we've got another one coming up next week, which is about making a creative CV. We've also got umpiring and scoring courses, obviously, that our county boards and all our network partners can we can use and utilise and offer those to our ladies. We offered Foundation Level 1 cricket coaching, which is quite a nice platform on the first journey into stepping stone of coaching if they really want to take the journey slow. Of course, if they want to go straight onto Level 2, we'll support that too. We do look for mentorship opportunities as well. So I know one of our volunteers was actually a strength and conditioning coach, so try to look for opportunities where she could go and actually spend some time with someone who does some strength and conditioning with some of the teams. And there are work experience opportunities as well that we're trying. So really trying to leverage partnerships where you can, and think outside of sport, think outside of tennis or netball, for example, really go beyond. So one of the partners that we're going to be taking on quite fairly soon is about women's health, where they're going to do a series of talks about menopause, or series of talks, especially for my club, I'm taking that back, where they'll be talking about menstrual cycles to the young girls and stuff. So really think a little bit outside of the actual immediate sport. And then if we go on to amplify, which is the last pillar, we just want to carry on raising awareness of a project. We say amplify, but what we really mean is shout and scream and make as much noise as you want. Because actually, if you keep raising awareness of a project, you're going to recruit more activators and more volunteers into your game. It also influences a bit of a broader change within your sport. So I think this program has really influenced a broader change in cricket in general. And then in turn, it kind of goes full circle, and it goes back to that whole inspire pillar. So it's almost like a full circle, but yeah, you really want to celebrate those people, shout about the program and the success stories, and make sure they're heard, because they are going to ultimately go back to the inspire pillar. Now over to Shruti.
Amazing. Well, I'm conscious of time, and I know there's been a few questions come in as well. So the last slide is basically just a recap of the framework around inspire, recruit, train, celebrate, and amplify. And our key message is, because we know when you listen to a presentation or webinar, you probably remember one thing. So I'm going to ensure we ask all of you what you remember tomorrow, and hopefully it's our framework or model. But just look at little ways that you can make a difference, because one little step forward will make that difference to volunteers, growing your game, being more inclusive and diverse to the audience you try to attract. But that's it from Sangy and I know there's a few questions, so over to you, Sue.
Lovely, thank you. I was almost okay on technical, wasn't I? I just lost it at the end there, I think. I'm disappointed in myself there. Thank you so much. That's fascinating. I've been scribing, and we will, I hope it's okay, we'll share your slides with the people that are attending too, in terms of notes and things. There's lots there that I learned and thought about. A couple of questions that came in earlier, and I'll look at some of the others that are coming in too. I know Kate asked around qualifications, and you kind of alluded to the fact that level 1, level 2. So is that part of the process and the package for your activators?
Yeah, so as mentioned, is we've kind of, with this program, is we ask the volunteers what they want. Not all of them want I guess that level 1 or level 2. Some of them have asked for some English lessons just to upskill themselves. Some have asked for like various, like around cooking. There's one who said, yeah, can I have a cooking class? So really, what's great about this program is we pretty much make it about what the volunteer wants, and what we've done is, as a Dream Big team, is make sure every individualized journey has been followed through, so the team will always track what a volunteer wants. But there are loads of opportunities, from mental health first aid training, level 1, level 2, confident speaking courses. There's just endless amount of development opportunities we provide.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I was going to say, and I don't know, this isn't a question to come through, you've clearly got a lot of funding from Sport England and to put into this, which enables you to give a lot too. But as you pointed out, there's been quite a lot of that could be delivered internally through women working within the program anyway, and other partners that don't necessarily need to be funded.
Yeah, definitely. So for example, the mentor program, a lot of the mentors, like Sangy, as she's head of women and girls in her club, she becomes a mentor for these activators that are coming through. So we've really looked at the skill set that the team hold, but also the wider team, to bring that change. And a lot of our changes that have been successful have not been driven through any funds. They have been the little human connection changes that actually make a difference to the volunteers' life.
Thank you. Rachel, I don't know if you've kind of answered your question there, and Rachel Gregg, in terms of I guess what the volunteer's journey looks like. I also like your point about the linking in of, I guess, work within the local area. Is there an opportunity to work with other sports like netball and other sports coming together too? Rachel, did you have anything you wanted to add from what you popped in the chat there?
No, not really. I think it has been covered. But yeah, I guess I don't know if you've got any case studies or stories maybe like on the website which more wholly shows some of the volunteers' journeys, because I think that would be really helpful, perhaps for other sports to share.
Yeah, for sure. We've got loads of content, and when you connect with Hina, she'll be able to share some stories and some assets. Like I'm pretty sure like we're open to working with other sports, other organizations should they want any help or support. Feel free to reach out.
Joe Rowbottom, welcome. I think this is your first session. Would you like to share your question there? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's quite a simple one, hopefully, but just was curious about who took the, who built those relationships with those different kind of non-traditional settings where you delivered the sessions. Was that the role of the volunteers, or did they already exist?
I think sometimes it's like the chicken and egg scenario, to be honest, because sometimes you'll get a mosque that will come and approach you and say, hey, I really want to do your program. But sometimes we've gone to like a Sikh temple and said, right, we've got this program. Do you want to get this into your temple? So it's a little bit of both. And I guess my perspective from being a city program executive, that fear of not trying, I'm happy to walk into anywhere tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, not with all the COVID variants going on, but I'm happy to go in. And I think we've all got that approach that actually, let's just try. Let's go to a Buddhist temple, or let's go to a church, or let's go anywhere and just give it a shot. And if it works, it works. But then there are people who come and approach us and say, do you know what, I go to a temple, do you think I could bring it to my temple? And they say, yeah, absolutely. Do you know what, do you want to drive this? Why don't you drive this forward? And they say, yeah, brilliant. Can I bring 3 friends along? Yeah, brilliant. That's even better. So it's a mixed scenario. There is just not, it could be the centre comes first, or it could be the volunteer comes first. So either or.
Cool. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. And Danielle, do you want to ask again, great question. Do you want to ask your question?
Hi, I won't put my camera on. I'm having a bit of a nightmare with Wi-Fi, but hopefully you can hear me okay.
I can hear you. Hiya.
Yeah, all good.
Great. I just was really interested in the kind of cultural aspects. So you seem to have built up this really great culture where everybody's pitching in, which can be really difficult to get with volunteers. You know, sometimes it all falls on 1 or 2 people, and then they can feel a bit overburdened. So I was just wondering if you could say a bit more how you've kind of got that balance and any challenges that you might have sort of come across and had to overcome in achieving that.
I'll probably say that work is probably fun for us, and when we did meet up, Shruti will always make us do an activity we don't want to do, like axe throwing might be one, and laser quest shooting. I don't know where she comes up with these ideas, but yeah, no, I guess, you know, I guess we bond together as people first, and when we have been in rooms, and I think a lot of us we're very energetic, we're very enthusiastic, so there's lots of ideas that come into a room and sort of shout about them and stuff. But I think we have got that culture where we're willing to listen, because while something might be different for me in London, something's going to be very different for Lisa in Manchester, for example. So I think we've got that kind of what's the word? We've got that kind of respect culture going on already. But then there are scenarios, you're right, because there are scenarios where we've got so many ideas and like, well, which one is the best? And I think we take forward the main aim of a program. We make sure that the program goes forward, not the individual strength. I don't know what you feel, Shruti. Enlighten me if you want.
And I think that culture that Sangy has just like portrayed as a team has actually transpired into the culture that we've created with the volunteer workforce. We do listen, it's an open door policy, and we know it can be time constraining, or it can be a little bit too much when you've got we know managing volunteers is hard work, especially when you don't pay them. But we've kind of kept an open culture where they share us feedback. But what we've done is we've created ambassadors and champions in these local cities. So it doesn't just come to like one of the team or myself. There's other people who are singing off the same hymn sheet. And that's what took a lot of time, building that community of people who would be the face, because when we do get to that 2000, pretty sure it's going to be really difficult for us 9 of us to really manage that volunteer journey. So we're looking at ways of how do we empower the volunteers to make decisions. And we've also had volunteers make mistakes. For example, there's an experience where one of the volunteers didn't wear the appropriate clothing when they went into a certain non-traditional cricket setting, but we educated, we supported them, we empowered them with knowledge, and then that person grew. So you've got to be prepared to let go, be flexible, and it's okay if mistakes happen, because you won't get it right the first time.
Excellent, thank you. I was just going to ask one more question, which was if you could change anything now, looking back. Clearly it's a brilliant presentation and you've done amazing things, but is there anything looking back now so far that you would change if you had the opportunity to improve it even further?
Oh, that's a really good question, isn't it, Shruti? I'm stuck.
When I look back at the 3 years or so that we've been around, and I reflect, and I think when we started out in the first 6 months, we always thought about big ideas, and I feel we invested a lot of time in that, getting that landing page. Like we didn't get a landing page until last year, which happened to be in COVID, but we spent, I feel like, a lot of resource in them big ideas. And what really mattered was that real local change, and it wasn't on a national scale. So if I look back, what the team we spend team meeting time on or resource on, I'd probably move it away to more local level and localized changes. That would be one of my reflections, I'd say.
Yeah, to have that impact.
Yeah,
I think it's that aspect, isn't it? It's progress, not perfection. So maybe not looking for, oh my God, the end result, just the little changes that come in between. It's
a lovely phrase I've heard recently, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good, isn't it? That actually you can get so much done without waiting to perfect it. Well, thank you so much. And I know people are dashing off to other meetings, and we like to finish on time whenever we can do these sessions, so respectful of people's time. But I so appreciate your putting the presentation together and coming forward to share that. And I think we were talking earlier, weren't we, before we came onto the call, but that importance of being open and sharing and being very collaborative to be better for everybody, really. And you've certainly demonstrated that today by volunteering to come forward and sharing that with people. So I've no doubt I speak on behalf of everybody that's on here now to thank you for this. And obviously people do please make connections across LinkedIn, and we don't send details of all the emails, but we'll send details of who's on the call. So please do follow up and make those connections from here, and hopefully we can all kind of learn from your learnings too, and do even more to empower women. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that, and we'll see you all hopefully on a networking call or another webinar again soon. So thank you so much.